Laura, you've been a pioneer in the Brazilian innovation ecosystem as one of the first female founders of a venture capital firm, Astella Investments, and you've made all kinds of contributions to bringing innovation, but also diversity to the Brazilian innovation ecosystem. Across European markets, Asian markets, North American markets, there is still a significant challenge with diversity in tech generally. Does that problem exist pervasively in LATAM and Brazil specifically as well?
The amount of women in the tech scenario is lower than even in the Middle East sometimes. A case of a culture that inhibits women on the scene. It's
from a cultural standpoint.
From a culture standpoint.
Well, and it makes your role as a trailblazer here in Brazil that much more important. One of the things that I think the world has not woken up to yet is the size of the Brazilian economy today. Obviously, I think people are aware there's high growth, but I think now 8th largest economy in the world. I don't think there's an awareness about that. And so the opportunity for you with Astella must be also to partner with companies here, develop technologies that can ultimately export it from Brazil as platform technologies.
Because Brazil is too large, entrepreneurs, they tend to focus on the problems that our society faces. And then they understand that this is similar to what other primarily emerging markets and other side countries are facing. And then they end up having a more complete product after Series B and Series C, and then they go abroad. Now that, first of all, developing solutions and technology become easier because you pile up stacks. And now with artificial intelligence, things becomes even more easier and faster.
Well, and costs too, right? Cost of compute, cost of storage, everything.
Oh yeah, and everything, like almost everything as a service, and you can fragment the offer and fragment the infrastructure.
Oh, there's a lot of components of an innovation ecosystem that many people would consider mature at this point, from incubators and accelerators. But one thing that's certainly still evolving in every market, and I think here as well, is mentorship and advisor type roles. So for yourself, and Astella as a firm, but for yourself personally, what type of mentor and advisor roles do you like to take on?
We were afraid of being the first check and not having someone helping us on taking the startups for the next stages and rounds. We organized ourselves by being mentors to help companies to scale and grow on an efficient mode. We studied a lot of go-to-market strategies so that we could share with our startups and the ecosystem in general so that they could be more efficient and maybe not depend that much on money to thrive, because at that time, you never knew when the next round would be, you know?
When you look forward from today, where do you see as the growth roadmap for Astella Investments as a platform?
We do see a lot of opportunity for next early stages, but also for growth stages as well. Because if
meaning additional funds?
Additional funds, yeah, to bridge the gap after. Because from now, our first checks goes from pre-seed into Series A. And then sometimes we do follow-up on Series B. But we do see a lot of opportunity coming out of our Series B and Series Cs that are not, we don't have enough funding right now in Brazil.
In the Brazilian market, or is LATAM? Right.
In general, LATAM, but mostly in the Brazilian market. So we do see a lot of opportunity coming out of our Series Bs and Cs as well.
There's no doubt that the Brazilian market is developing a reputation globally as being a hotbed for innovation in certain industries, fintech, for example, crypto. What do you think, from Astella's perspective, the government has done well here to create an environment to foster that type of innovation ecosystem?
The best case was the open banking structure, and enabled so many innovation. And it's such a huge segment. And at the beginning, this was made to bring competition to the big banks. But then it opened up so many alternatives in terms of embedding and enabling monetization of services throughout transactions. And this opened space for marketplaces and for SaaS focused on specific verticals, because those verticals or those segments were small if you consider them being monetized by a subscription. But whenever you open up the alternative of being part of the transaction, then they become profitable.